Good.
Just hold the shirt up, please.
There we go. That helps. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much.
Cheers. Thank you. Too many old faces. Mine included.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our press conference and welcoming David Moyes back to the football club. We're going to preview the game against Aston Villa, and we will start off with Alan from Sky.
David, welcome back.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Can you tell us, first of all, just your thought process when you found out that you were linked with a move back to Everton?
Well, it was really quick. I think Tuesday or Wednesday when I first get a little bit of call to say that there was a chance there was going to be a change. I had several conversations with Dan and Mark, and that's where it really took off from, really. But up until that point, I had no idea. I actually thought, Sean was doing a really good job, and I didn't see any changes materialising at the time. And in truth, I wasn't necessarily out there looking to go back, but as everybody knows, this is a different beast to me than many other clubs.
I know you said recently that you weren't finished in the Premier League and you wanted to work again, but not with a club battling against relegation. But
yeah,
Everton is different.
Yeah, Everton's different. A couple of weeks I didn't think there was any chance Everton could be in a relegation fight. I thought they would be strong enough to get out of it. I've come into the seat now, and I'm going to back that up and say I believe that we'll be strong enough to stay away from it. But I'm not kidding myself on or MD else. We'll need everybody behind us. We'll need the players playing better, scoring more goals, if we're going to make that happen.
And you've obviously had various meetings with the owners. Can you give us some insight into their way of thinking, bringing the stability to the football club that's been lacking, maybe?
Yeah, well, look, there's a lot of people in this room included who've probably seen the last few years at Everton. It's been a difficult time, and I admire a lot of them for steering it through a difficult period. But I have to say that Dan and Mark were very good. I think a lot of Evertonians should be happy that at the moment it looks like they're going in the right direction. I've been really privileged here to work under some great owners and people who've helped me. I've worked under people who their intention was to build a better Everton, and I think they've done that. I think we done that at a period which wasn't easy either, and I think that this period's not going to be easy. But I think the new ownership have got big ideas, big hopes that they can make a big difference to the football club.
People will remember that you had a very special relationship with the previous chairman in your tenure, of course, and you'll want to build that again. But how different will it be?
Well, it's different because they're in America at the moment, and I'm here just now. So the conversations have been mainly through video calls. But yesterday I had a couple of Americans over. Mark was here, Brian was here, who we had another conversation. Maybe after this as well, I might have a chance to speak to them again. So at the moment, it's like anything else. You never can tell how managers are going to do, but managers can't really tell what owners are going to do either. So it works both ways. But at the moment, I've found the conversations good, and I've found them, they want to get us back on track, and we all know it's, we need a little bit of a sticking plaster at the moment, and we have to try and make that work.
Is that the immediate issue? Is obviously trying to win football matches, but what are the issues and priorities for you, having got your feet under the table?
Well, winning football matches is always a priority, isn't it? Obviously there's other things. There's sort of building a club back up if possible. And I don't think it's been done by any managers. I think the damage has been done through a long period of time. But I actually think, I had a great time here. I'd love to be part of making it better if possible. I think at the end of it, there's a stadium, but the stadium looks the business. It looks elite. So we need to start getting some elite players. We need to start looking at the level of the players that we can give everybody something to shout about when we move to the new stadium.
On that note, have you been given any indication at all about availability of funds in this transfer window, and is that something that you would seek to utilise immediately?
Absolutely. If I can give the supporters something to shout about as well by bringing in some new players. It's probably the things which the managers do. I mean, it's never that easy, and it's maybe probably even a little bit more difficult here because it's not been a great situation for a while. But I need to impress the people, tell them that we need them to come. What we're going to try and do here. The new players who are going to come here, we want them to be excited by the thought of going to the new stadium. So overall, I hope we can all get together and find a way of spending a bit of money, but as you well know, we've still got a little bit of work to do to clear everything. So we need to be mindful of that as well.
And you'll be working with a director of football here in Kevin Thelwell. How do you see that area? And I know you worked with something similar at West Ham. Yeah,
and we had it. Did one at Real Sociedad as well. So I've had it. It's fine. Kevin's been here a lot longer than me. I'm needing to go to Kevin to find out exactly what's happening. So for me, just to turn up and know all the players in the market and all the players where they're playing, it's really difficult. So I need to take their advice, their help, and collaborate together and find a way, hopefully, of doing the right things.
Goals have been a big concern for Everton this season, not scoring in 11 of 19 Premier League matches. Priority number one. Do you have to do anything different? Is it a confidence factor with strikers?
Well, I think if we all knew the answer, then we would have done it, or the past manager would have done it as well. We have to find a way in scoring goals now. Sometimes you can get streaky and score goals, but we need to do it, whether it's through set pieces, we need to do it through our open play. But of course, you need all the players to chip in with the goals. But we'll be putting more pressure on the forwards to try and be the ones who do it. And we might look to strengthen in those areas if we can't get results ourselves.
Thanks, David.
Thanks. I will go to Ellen at PLP.
Hi, David.
Hi there.
Just coming from your first training session with the lads not so long ago. What shape is the squad in?
Well, it's the first day I've been with them. Really, today was an opportunity to train with them and see them. I think the squad's in good spirits in the main. They're obviously been in this position before, so the position they're in just now is not something which has just happened to them. They've done really well to make sure that they weren't in the wrong places in the Premier League in the last couple of years. So I don't think you want to get a feeling that we're very good at avoiding being down near the bottom. But I found the players good today, and I've got to say I really enjoyed being out with them. We trained well, we had a bit of laughter, a bit of fun as well. So sometimes when it's not so good, you need to make sure that we try and keep their chins up and keep things quite bright.
And of course, plenty of familiar faces from your last spell here, and it was Leighton Baines and Seamus Coleman, players that you brought in, who took charge of the FA Cup game. Was there a feeling of pride watching them step up into that role?
Absolutely, because I think as a manager, when you bring players in, you hope they can all step into coaching or management if they choose to do so. I'm really fortunate that I've had so many now over my time who are getting into management, but also shows my age as well at times, so I have to be mindful of that. But look, Bainesy has been around for a long time here and has been working with under-18s, and I just thought it was right that Leighton get a chance to step up. I'm getting told he's a very good coach and can work well, so we'll do a lot of things, but as I said, we're probably going to do things up and see how we get to in the summer. We need to get to work quickly. I need people who I trust and people who know how I work quickly. We may look to alter things a little bit in the summer, but at the moment, I need people around me who know exactly how I'm going to work.
Could you see yourself working with those two in a coaching capacity in the future?
Yeah, I mean, Seamus still wants to play, but I've got to say Seamus is a great leader off the pitch as far as I know. I've been away for a long time, but I think we bought him for about 60 grand at one point, and it's been great value. I hope we can buy a few in this window at that price and be as good as Seamus has been.
And in terms of that FA Cup game, one of the big headlines afterwards, of course, Amadou going down in such a concerning fashion. Yeah. Do you have an update on where he is?
Yeah, he's going for another scan. I think there's a little bit mixed. One moment we're thinking it's not too bad, so that's why we're doubling up. We're just waiting on a bit of swelling going down before he goes for the scan, and hopefully we'll get a better idea in the next few days.
Thanks, Alan. We'll go to Dan at the BBC.
Hi, David.
Hi, Dan.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think when you were unveiled here for the first time in 2002, you were the youngest Premier League manager at that time. I think you're now the oldest and certainly the most experienced.
Don't say that, Dan. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a value in experience, obviously, but I just wonder how different do you think you are as a result of the journey that you've been on since leaving here in 2013? How different is this club as well?
Yeah. Well, look, I'm not coming back to the same Everton as what I left it. I don't believe I am. But I don't think Everton are getting the same David Moyes, who was here at the time he was as well. But I hope they're getting somebody a bit more experienced, maybe a bit wiser. It's interesting, though, when you go back, Dan. You sometimes, when you're youthful, you don't carry as much baggage. The different things that come up through your career. Obviously, I've got over 1,000 games now and quite a lot of experience in the Premier League. But Everton were really the reason that started. They gave me an opportunity when I was a young coach. Gave me an opportunity to step into the Premier League, and it was a great period for me, and I'll be ever grateful, as I am, for getting a second go at it.
And how valuable is that experience at West Ham, David? I mean, there are real parallels in that. When you went there in 2019, they were just above the relegation zone, saved them, and then you went on to enjoy success there, get them into Europe, and we know what happened after that. Can you draw upon that experience here, given similarities?
Yeah, I feel as if I will do, and I can. I mean, ultimately, the thing that we've got to say is make sure that we're not near the bottom. That's the big key. So after that, we can decide how we go and what we do from there. The period we at West Ham was a great period for the club, I felt, as well. And I think that we grew West Ham in a certain way, which certainly we got away from relegation trouble and went on to I think we had a 6th finish, a 7th finish, a 9th finish out of 3 out of 4 years in the Premier League. At Everton here, I can only remember us always feeling that a team who were challenging against the top teams, trying to be in Europe. That took a little bit of time, but we done it quite quickly here, and I done it quite quickly at West Ham. So my idea is to try and do everything as quick as I can here, because I'm not going to be here for 11 years like I was before. I'll be here for a period to try and maybe stabilise and try and take the club another direction or get it better. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope that I can have similar levels of success in some ways, which West Ham had, and actually I think even Everton at the time. I think if we look back now, we'd say there's probably levels of success in those years as well.
And as you've touched upon earlier, this is a club that's gone through quite an ordeal in recent years: relegation fights, points deductions, the threat of financial difficulties. But there's this excitement, as you say, of the new stadium and this new start. Do you see that as an awesome, very exciting responsibility? But with that comes a great deal of pressure to be the man to ensure that come next season, this club is in the Premier League still.
I do, Dan. I see it as a huge pressure, and I think when you care so much about a club, and you've had such a long period, and even today there's a lot of people here who was here 11 years ago, a lot of the same press who were here 11, 12 years ago. It makes me realise that it is a really popular football club, and one that needs to be in the top flight, and has been. And look, it would be a great feeling for us all to go into the new stadium, but it will be mainly great if we're a Premier League club and we can give everybody something to shout about.
Thanks, Dan. We'll go to TalkSport.
Hi, David. I know you
Hi
said
there.
that it kind of came around quickly, but in the time that you've been away, have you ever thought you'd like to come back? Feel maybe there's unfinished business here?
Well, I've come very close to coming back on, I can tell you, 3, maybe 4 occasions. I've had talks at different times, different periods in my career to come back, and it for different reasons has fallen through or not quite happened. But that's football, and I've got no problem with that at all. But it used to be going back didn't sound good, but I went back to West Ham after the first time, went back to the second time, and we went on to win a European trophy. Sold the most expensive player in Britain. So sometimes at football clubs, I remember here in the early days having to sell Wayne Rooney, and in the onward journey we had to sell players to sort of rebuild and get ourselves a better team. So we're back on the journey again.
And how dissimilar is the job that you are undertaking now compared to the one that you took when you first came here?
It's really difficult because the thing that I would say is I remember my first day, and I have to say I was really nervous coming back here. I came back yesterday to see you around. I was really nervous coming back. Hadn't been back here for so long. Hadn't been back here since the day I left. But the first day when I walked in, I had to go into the dressing room with David Ginola, Paul Gascoigne, Duncan Ferguson, Tommy Gravison, with me being a really young coach, and I'm saying, my goodness, they won't even know who I am, you know. So I walked back in a different stage of my career, probably. People know me a bit more, the players will know me. I know a lot of the players through the teams and playing Everton, and some of them who I've probably tried to sign myself. So I hope that we can get together and work well and make something happen.
You obviously start against Aston Villa. The job that Unai's done there is maybe kind of an example that you want to follow with Everton. Took them over when they were at the bottom now.
Amazing job. I don't think we should be surprised. But let's be fair. They've been consistent in their spend. Aston Villa over quite a few years now. Tried to back the managers. Tried to make sure that the team was improving, buying good players. But the manager there's been is a wonderful manager and has shown doing a really good job.
Thanks, Matt. We'll go to Julia.
Hiya, David.
Hi there.
Hiya. What will Everton, David Moyes 2.0 Everton play like then?
Well, it's a good question because I expected somebody to say something like that, and I'm thinking that I'm going to try and play to win as many games as I possibly can to get myself out of this position. Then I'll start thinking about how my style is going to develop and what I'm going to do to make that work. I couldn't tell you exactly what the biggest strength of all the players here, because I might know better, say, in a month's time once I've had them. I get to see them play. I get to see best positions, how I think they know what they're good at. So for me to come in and sort of strike something, I don't know if we're in that position where we can quite do that yet. But my plan is to come in and get as many wins as I possibly can.
Will having 2 home games in a matter of days help with that? And help you settle back in as well?
Goodison will help. But what we've got to talk about is the opposition. We're playing against two really good sides. I know Tottenham are having a little bit of up and down, but 2 big games that, my history will tell me about Goodison has played such a big part. If it could do it again and help us, it will be really important. I feel now that we need a little bit of help. I saw the support that the Evertonians gave the team in the run-in last year, which was needed. Hopefully we're not as in that position at the moment, but I'm hoping that the crowd get right behind the players.
Do you believe this is a relegation battle then?
I believe we've got a team of players who, a few weeks ago, I didn't see any difficulty. I don't know whether it's just the odd result or maybe other teams picking up a few points. But we've got a lot of work to do to move up the table, and we have to do that. So I'll focus on the next game. It's very little time to really have prep with just the way things have gone, and I hope that we're ready the best we can against Aston Villa.
I appreciate it. It's been a really quick turnaround and you arriving. You said there that you believed these owners want to build a better Everton. So the conversations you have had, what was it that convinced you about that? What did they say?
Well, I think that the problems with the club have had, we feel as if they're not completely over, but we're very close to getting them over. And I think that's the bit what excites me more. I think then we can go back to maybe trying to grow the team. I think for many years it's been stifled because of the financial situation. The new owners, I'm sure, are clearing as much as that up. I think there's still a little bit maybe to get done, but I think overall, I think the new owners have got ambition to try and get Everton back nearer the top. And if you were a new owner coming in to take over a new stadium, what's getting put up, it'll be fantastic. And I remember here when I first came in, everybody was talking about what area are Everton going to move to in the stadium. We were out looking at different sites, and we sit here today in Finch Farm. And I remember the first day I came in, the last time I was getting asked would I come and look at these strawberry fields to see if it was if they would. Do you think a training ground would be suitable here? I remember coming down on just about the first day I took the job before. So things move on. We're now coming back to a new stadium. So I'm hoping I can lead the team into that arena.
Thanks, Julia. We'll go to Carl at the Press Association.
Hi, David.
Hi there, how you doing?
One for me. About yourself, good. You've obviously, in the last decade, watched from afar about what, with maybe some interest, maybe not, about what's going on here. I just wondered how you feel about the state and the status of the club now, as it is now, compared to where you left it.
Well, I think I left, and I'm only saying this, I felt as if I left a brilliant team. Great characters. I had, the staff round here were amazing at Everton. They really were, and we were really close. I've walked back into a different thing now, instead of maybe having, 10, 15 staff around, we're probably walking into a place having 80, 90 staff, so there's big changes over the years. But probably the biggest compliment I could give would be the players I had and the players we had. It took me a bit of time to build that, but I actually thought most years here at Everton we made a bit of progress. We didn't have huge money, and we've not got huge money now, but we sort of, got another league up. We were trying to and probably the biggest thing near enough at the end of the time was, I don't know if we'd hit a glass ceiling, but we had started to feel that we couldn't really get much further because we were finishing 6th, 7th, a lot of the time. So I think the new ownership, everything that came in, I think put in great money to try and help Everton. Money in football is always the thing we talk about. It's not always the thing. Sometimes just having the right characters, good players, and people who work hard. Sadly, it's looking a bit more like money is the thing to get you success. So let's hope that we're able to get into that situation. So I think we're trying to build the club up again and try to get it back to where we think it should be.
So would you say the status of the club? You said they were knocking on Champions League at the time you were here.
Mm-hmm.
Has the status been diminished by what's happened over the last 10 years?
Well, I don't think you could say it can be diminished, because I think that the people come in with great intentions to bought lots of really good players, done a lot of good jobs, and in the main probably have built most of the stadium or put the plans in for most of the new stadium. So you have to give them a lot of credit for what they've done there. I don't understand all the things. I don't know where the financial fair play stuff, etc., changed over the years. But what I do know is that I don't think they came in with the wrong intentions.
Thanks, Carl. We'll go to Will at the back there.
Hi, David. There's 11 players who are out of contract in the summer. Obviously, they moved to new stadium. Maybe the PSR situation will be a bit better. Does it feel like there is a bit of a blank canvas that you can build on?
Yeah, it works. Obviously, you're saying there's players coming out of contract, but I need a lot of those players to show that they're up for helping us and not thinking about other things if they are. I mean, obviously, I'm just in, so I'm not in a position to judge on what they're doing. I'm sure the people before have had a look at that. But you're right, I think that there is a chance for a freshness. But I don't know, you people know much more than me about what's been spent over the years and different things. And maybe we need to be really careful on how we spend and what we spend it on, and the people we bring in, so that we get it right. We don't want to mess up with what we're going to do. So, but you're right. I think there's 11 people out of contract, and that'll be something we'll need to do. But let me say, I think in football, sorry, I can see you now. I think in football generally you're going to find it a little bit more. I think that players are now running their contract down more than maybe done years gone by, and I think because bigger squads mean that most clubs will probably be moving on 4, 5, 6 players most year, and probably try to bring in 4, 5, 6 players more than what they used to do in the past.
One of those players is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He scored 2 goals this season. You talked about putting pressure on the forwards. Do you talk to Dominic about his future, and how do you get the best out of him if he is to stay and see out his contract?
Well, I've probably only sort of got round the players today, and I'll get a chat with him. But yeah, I think we all feel that he could be the one who could make a big difference. Get his goal scoring boots back on. It'll be a big help to Evertonians and to the manager as well. We'll give him as much confidence and help him as much as we can. We'll give him as much practice as we can. But then there's a little bit where you need the player then to stand up and do his bit as well. So I'm just in, so hopefully we'll get him working. But I've told him that, you know, I'm needing goals off him right away, and he has to start delivering.
I don't know how much you know about team news. Do you know if Dominic's back? He missed a Peter game. Do you know if Dwight McNeil's back as well?
No, Dwight's not. I know that. Dwight's still got a little bit of an ongoing knee issue as far as I know, and Dominic's trained today, so we think he should be okay.
We'll go to Patrick at The Athletic.
Hi David,
Hi,
what are you able
Patrick.
to tell us about who's going to be coming with you as part of your backroom stuff? I mean, you mentioned
Yeah.
Leighton there, spoken positively. Will he be
Yeah.
part of it?
Yeah, Leighton will be. I'll bring Leighton up. As I said, I'm probably, as I said, I'm going to try and work quickly with people I know and trust to because of the situation. And so Billy McKinley, who's worked with me for a while, is with me now. Alan Irvin will join me probably after next weekend, and Bainsey. So I've tended to work with a bigger staff as I've got on, just like probably everywhere else in football. The staffs get bigger, so I want to try and look to bring in a coach who, with an idea of him working on mainly set pieces and doing that as well. So, and I've got some ideas that I might look to alter in the summer, but I want to get us over the line first before I start sort of disclosing too much what I might do then.
Any further questions in the open section before we move on? We'll take one more from you, Shemaine.
Hi, David. You said at the top you weren't actively looking to get back. Is this the only club job you'd have taken to come back into management?
Yeah, I believe so, because I don't think there's anything else which was really no. I've had other opportunities to consider other jobs. You know, quite a few since I've left West Ham, and I didn't feel ready for it anyway. But I always felt that if the job came up, and I didn't expect the job to come up, I really didn't. I didn't see it, and I think, to be honest, I don't think many people did at the time. But when I get asked about it this week, it was just too big an opportunity to turn down, and I want to try and show that I can go again. I think in football you always have to prove yourself, and it doesn't matter who you are, you always have to do it. So I'll try and do that again.
And you've spoken about the ownership. They've shown, I think, that they're quite ruthless, not just here in the short time they've been, but at Roma as well. Any concerns about that?
Oh, who's not concerned about their owners? All managers are concerned about their owners. We have a huge influx of American owners in the Premier League, and I think, I wouldn't say they're all. You can work out the numbers yourself. We've got big levels, so we have to work out their culture, how they think, what they're expecting. So it's a big job for the managers. I'm part of the League Managers Association, and we're trying to come up with the way how to please American owners, because there's certainly a lot of them in football, not only in the Premier League, and a lot of the lower leagues as well.
Okay, thanks folks. We'll move on to the embargo section for the papers now.
Like you've never been away.
Cheers. I probably talk more rubbish now. That's probably.